2011 to begin my very first year of teaching for Milwaukee Public Schools. Little did I know that I would be moving to a city that had to be one of the most toxic environments for a public school educator. For more than 20 years, Milwaukee was the focal point for the education war between voucher schools, charter schools, and public schools. The voucher and charter legislation was sold to parents as a way to get a great education for their children because MPS was failing. But in actuality, it was a scam designed to decimate our public schools and to bust the largest teacher union in the state. Whenever a student left Milwaukee Public Schools to enroll in a voucher school or a charter school, the state saved $2,000, and the city taxpayer paid $1,000 more per taxpayer to that voucher schools or to the charter schools than to Milwaukee Public Schools. Far too many members of the general public bought into this scam. Based on the media and the public sentiment, my students were a lost cause, and I was a greedy teacher because I was a public school educator. Needless to say, I spent thousands of dollars out of my own pocket providing books and food and shoes for those children every day. However, despite being starved of funding to the point where most elementary schools did not have art, music, gym, school nurses, and most schools lacked guidance counselors at every level, the data still showed that NPS outperformed the voucher schools in charter. When very limited accountability was put in place. During my 9 years in Milwaukee, 20 voucher schools closed mid-year, often giving parents less than a week's notice to find a new school. Every year, whether it was after our state-mandated third Friday attendance date or somewhere in the middle of the school year, Milwaukee Public Schools was there to greet all of the displaced students and children and parents. Children with disabilities and behavior concerns were always the first students we welcomed into our schools after that third Friday. Unfortunately, the money the voucher and charter school received from the state did not follow their child to the new public school. During the 2009 and 10 school year, there were more students and one NPS high school that were on an IEP than all of the voucher and non-NPS charter schools in the entire city. For the rest of the state, public school educators were still relatively respected by the general public. That all ended when Scott Walker and Act 10, the infamous collective bargaining law that led to the Wisconsin uprising in 2011. Since then, Wisconsin has developed an educational crisis. A free agent system has pitted the most affluent districts in an uneven battle for educators against rural and impoverished urban districts, as teachers tried to increase their salaries to make up for the $2,000 to $4,000 lost in salary in the first year under Act 10. This has led to a high turnover rate of staff for school districts, which obviously is bad for students because you want to have consistency of staff in a building, especially for the rural school districts of Wisconsin. Wisconsin has seen such a drastic drop in the number of applicants they receive for open positions that based on the Wisconsin Budget Project for the 2015 school year, 54% of the school districts reported an extreme shortage in hiring qualified teachers in math, and 50% for an extreme shortage in hiring teachers of science. Only 6% of school districts reported no shortage in the areas of math and 7% for the area of science. In order to address the crisis level of the teacher shortage, the state had to extend the number of days substitute teachers can teach, along with weakening the teacher requirements when it comes to educational training, including only having a BA in a subject area, or perhaps a high school diploma, but where the local superintendent can determine that you are qualified to be able to teach at the high school and middle school levels. In addition to the passage of Act 10, Wisconsin expanded their voucher program to Green Bay, Racine, and eventually statewide. This has led to property taxes increases at the local level to maintain programs and staffing for the local community school districts. In the fall of 2011, I made a very hard decision and left Milwaukee to move back to Iowa, where for the very first time in my professional career, I actually felt respected as a public school educator. When shoppers at Target would see my cart full of school supplies, office supplies, and board games, I'd be told, "Thank you for being a teacher." Thank you for supporting our students. That was the very first shopping trip that confirmed that I had made the right decision to leave Wisconsin to teach in Iowa. And now, 6 years later, the Koch brothers and Alec are bringing this agenda to Iowa. The changes to Chapter 20 and the lack of sufficient funding for our schools is an attack on the public schools of Iowa, and we won't stand for that. Our children deserve better. As long as the legislators push this agenda that hurt our children, schools, and communities, we will go to the streets and to the state capitol. We will continue to flood legislative forums and their email boxes to stand to opposition of their agenda. And we will remember when they continue the attacks on our collective bargaining rights and when they introduce educational savings accounts and the attacks keep coming with poor funding for our schools. We will remember in November 18th, or November 2018.